Hello everyone, my name is Brett Keane, and it's going to be my last video for a while. Not permanently, but it will be the last one for a while. It doesn't really matter because I don't get the kind of views that I used to, that's for sure. Doesn't really matter because nobody's even fucking listening, but I'm going to go ahead and do this anyway. Because I got a lot of shit on my mind, and as usual, whenever I got shit on my mind, I got to put it out there. But this is something that's been eating at me for a while. One of the most annoying things for me is not my trolls, not my haters, not the people who had some kind of problem with me. I expected whenever I started out doing videos that people were going to have issues. They were going to have issues because I was stepping on people's belief systems, their ideologies, things people had been programmed and raised up into all their life. I expected it. I also expected if I talked about government and politics, that would also step on a lot of people's toes. My grandfather used to tell me all the time that if it's one thing that'll get you into a big-ass fucking sweaty argument or fight is to talk about religion or politics or government. It's like two of the most intense things in the world that you can talk about. But that's the way it is. The thing that I have the most anger towards is those who subscribed to me and viewed me. And I don't know if it's really them that I'm pissed off about or it's my own perception of how things should have went down. And I'll give you an example why. First, we'll start with the positive things about what these video sites have done for me. One, I was able to say the things that were on my mind and shit. It's not a lot of people around my area where I'm able to share and talk about the things I'm into. A lot of people in my area aren't very deep. They're very shallow people who pretty much think about their own little bubble that they live in. They'd have a hard time sitting down with a guy like me who's constantly thinking and constantly has something to say. Clearly I have a lot of shit on my mind or I wouldn't make 900 fucking videos. But the thing that bugs me is that I assume that people would be able to understand while they're watching me, or anybody for that matter, that they're watching a person's life. They're seeing a person and how they feel inside. Not everybody that makes videos is for real. Some people wear masks and they pretend to be something they're not just so they can pick up subs. But I was one of those people who actually was for real. I actually told you my real name. Whenever I created my account, it was Brett Keane. You knew who I was. You knew the face. You got what you were looking at. One of my issues, though, is that so many false accusations, so much bullshit has been said, so much crap, so many burned bridges. And my subscribers and my viewers watched me long enough to realize that I was an honest fellow. I never had gave the appearance that I was a perfect man. I never gave any kind of misled people into thinking that I was some saint or some fucking pope of atheism. I never claimed to want to represent it. I never wanted to claim to be in any groups or any gangs or anything like that. I did not consider myself any kind of preacher. In fact, I actually goofed on the idea of the preacher bullshit whenever I called myself Pastor Brett Keane in some of my videos. It was just something goofy because people said, my goodness, he's like a preacher of atheism. But I just cannot believe how things go down. One of the biggest, most annoying things for me is so many people were basically ball washers. So many people pretended to be my friend whenever I was at my height on YouTube. So many people, atheists as well as Christians and non-believers alike, everybody was all up in my shit and stuff, even the people who didn't like me, of course. I had people like Tommy from the Bronx, Christopher L., Amazing Atheist, Captain Awesome, people sitting there constantly trying to pretend to be my friend and shit whenever they were below me on subs. And when they got their views and they got their subs and shit, and they started picking up and everything, guess what happened? Whenever I got kicked off of YouTube, did any of these motherfuckers call me up? All of them had my phone number. That's right, a lot of these people had my phone numbers. Did they feel like calling? Did they feel like talking to me and saying, hey Brett, what's going on with you? How you doing? No. Tommy from the Bronx, I haven't talked to him unless I go into a fucking chat room where he's at, which is usually over in Yokup's room, where I will get kicked out immediately. It aggravates me. The positive things about being able to do what I have done and stuff in videos is that I've been able to affect people's life. I've been able to help people. I have been able to make a difference in some people's life, and there's no way that anything can go above that. I've also, made a lot of really, really close friends off this situation, a few in particular that I can think about. But one of the things that disturbed me most is when people did make false accusations. I actually had people email me and shit and ask, well, is this true? Is this true? I've actually had people in stick-cam rooms sit there and go along with Judalicious pedophile accusation video. I've had people jump on my ass and stuff saying, oh, do you kick the shit out of your wife? Do you do this shit and you do that shit? It's totally ignorant and barbaric. When I started doing my videos, I wanted to help people. I just wanted to make a difference. I wanted a forum where I could talk about my feelings and about pretty much my life. Like I said, I expected trouble, but I didn't expect people to sit here and be so goddamn competitive, which is what atheists did. They competed with me, and they wanted to battle it out for subscribers and views, even if it meant trying to rip an innocent person apart. And I can't deal with that. I literally cannot live with the fact that there are this fucking group of people and shit that I had so much respect for. I thought had integrity. Religious people tend to have a lot of fear in them, and they're scared and shit, and they fuck with each other because they have these belief systems and ideologies and shit. And when you look around at all these different groups and all these different belief systems, and you see how fucked up and stupid they are, you assume that there may be some group out there that is smart enough to see how history repeats itself, to see that this is not the way to go, that people should respect each other and people should respect each other's privacy and dignity and integrity. But it didn't happen. Instead, I had a bunch of goddamn young atheists and shit, including older atheists, trying to fucking bite my heels because they wanted views and subscribers. They didn't give a fuck that I was trying to be for real, that I'm trying to just be me. They want the views so goddamn bad that they're willing to bury people under gossip and rumors and accusations. One of the most upsetting things in my life, and this is what has happened to me as well as many other people, especially non-believers, is that their own parents, some of them are so afraid to sit there and just tell their own mothers and fathers, look, I'm a non-believer, I have doubt, I'm different than you, mom and dad, I actually don't believe in this shit, I don't accept what society has tried training in my head. Religion is so popular and so fucking in every corner of every household and shit that there's actually young people out there and even adults who are afraid to fucking say, this is how it is, this is how I feel, because they're afraid that they'll either get disowned or that their relationship with their families will never be the same again. They're afraid of how their mothers and fathers will look at them for saying it. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing my videos, because I wanted people to feel like, hey, it's okay to just come out and say what it is that you feel. Don't hold back, don't hide, especially from your own family and friends and shit. Because if they truly love you, then they'll be there for you no matter what. But that isn't really the case, is it? There's some people out there, they try to say it, and they get fucked anyway. So I can't lie to you. It doesn't mean things are going to be a relief if you do come out and say who you truly are. But the point is, inside, at least you know that you were honest with yourself. And I wanted to do that. Didn't want to represent atheism, but I wanted atheists and agnostics and skeptics alike to know that there's someone out there who's willing to listen, who's willing to fight for them to be able to say the things that are on their mind and be able to share what's on their heart. And instead, I spoke my mind and I said how I felt, and I got buried, didn't I? I got shut the fuck down. Over stupid shit. Some people, they look at me like I'm an inspiration, and other people are now even more afraid to say what's on their mind because they see what happens to a guy like me. If Brett Keane can get fucking sunk into the damn dumpster and shit or flushed down the toilet, then what will happen to them whenever they speak their mind, whenever they share what's inside? I can't change that. I can't go back in time and, make it all right for all those people who had that fear in them that watched me. I'm not any kind of Superman. I am the perfect example of what happens and shit when people are real. So, and it hurts me. It hurts me to know that I am actually a big reason, although not by my own intention, why there's going to be more fear and more suffering for a lot of people. And some people out there who are watching this video or might actually listen may not understand. But when you see someone who is strong, someone who does have the ability to be able to express themselves and tell it like it is, and watch them get flushed down the toilet for it, what do you think that does to people who are watching from the shadows? Imagine in their mind that, what if I could do what Brett Keane does? What if I could do what the Amazing Atheist or Garancho or any of these guys are doing? To watch them get sunk down the toilet, they're never going to come out of the shadows. People are never going to open up. Religious people and non-believers are going to continue to fight, and non-believers are going to eat each other up like fucking cannibals. It also hurts me to know that I meant so little to some people out there, like Tommy from the Bronx, Christopher L., and many others, that I was only important to them at the moment whenever they felt like they could get up the ladder of fucking views on a video site, that they would pretend to be my friend and pretend like they care about my family and shit. I remember getting those emails from Tommy, hey, how's the wife doing? How's the kids? Christopher L., hey, how's the wife and kids? Many people doing this kind of shit. But now that I'm not a YouTube celebrity, as some people would accuse me of, which I've always fucking thought that name was stupid, now that I'm not on the YouTube, I'm basically dead in these people's eyes. It's funny because I'll go into a room with a guy like Jesus Freak, and he'll be more than happy to talk with me and sit there and share with me very intimate things, which I'm not going to discuss on the video. I will never talk about. He can always know that he can trust and confide in me. And that's what a lot of people seen in me. And for all you atheists, that whenever I go into your chat rooms or I hang with you and I try to be respectful and decent, and you sit there knowing that I'm married and I have children, and you call me a faggot and a piece of shit and a piece of garbage, what are you doing? There's a number of things that I could sit here and argue about in this situation. There may be young people in the room who are gay and homosexual, and here you are calling me a faggot like it's something bad or horrible. What if I were a homosexual? What if I were these things? What if I was a Christian? What if I was a fucking Buddhist? What's it to you? What would it be to you? Who the fuck are you to sit in a room or sit out on your videos and shit and insult people? Has any of you trolls or assholes out there ever asked yourself why you're doing it? What are you doing it for? Do you feel like you're doing something good whenever you find someone that you feel has flaws or has maybe issues in their life? So you fuck with them? Do you believe that this somehow makes you a superior person? That you're somehow doing something right? That you are like the fucking saints of judgment? You know, if you believe that you were a saint and you believe that you were a good person doing the right thing, I think that you'd probably show your face. I think you'd probably tell us your real name like I did. See, my name's Brett Keane. Everybody knows that. They've heard it over 900 fucking times. But you gotta hide behind a picture. Maybe you're one of those people that live in the shadows. Maybe when you listened to me and watched me, you weren't inspired. Maybe you were inspired to be feared. You were scared. You're like, my goodness, I can't believe this guy's saying all this shit. This isn't the way I want to be seen. This isn't the way I want to be represented. But I never said I wanted to represent you. I know a guy named One Less God. He was always concerned about this thing called an image of atheism. He was afraid that if there was any atheist out there who were weak and could not talk or couldn't do the things that they did or agree with him, that they were a problem. They were like a parasite that needed to be dealt with. And that's sad, because it sounds a hell of a lot like a holy war, doesn't it? Sounds like religious people, whenever they get scared, what do? They start shooting and ask questions later. And that's too bad. That's how I feel. Another good thing that has happened to me in Shed is meeting my friend Bonacy, meeting my friend Garancho, whom I hang out with. It's so funny because I'd seen a couple of Garancho's videos and stuff in the past, but then whenever the fucking cards went down, whenever the dominoes basically had their effect and everything fell, the fucking video site world fell apart around me, guess what? A guy like Garancho actually shows up, talks to me, hangs out with me and shit, calls me and stuff, asks me how I'm doing. Isn't that something? I remember my mother used to say this a while back, and I used to think it was so cliche, but she used to say, whenever the fucking shit goes wrong, whenever things go bad, you can always tell who really loves you, who really cares about you, who's really there for you when the fucking chips are down. And you find out also at the same time who the fakes are. And that's sad, because a lot of you I wouldn't have even guessed. Trolls will be trolls. But a lot of you who watched me, you knew better. You knew that I was a good man. You knew that just like you and everybody else, everybody's got issues and problems. People make mistakes. But you're not a viewer, are you? You're judge, jury, and persecutor. I hope it works out for you. This is my last video for a while.